What's going on, guys? Hey, it's Anthony with the Restart Experiment. Thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to be talking about some self-motivation, a really cool keynote speaker that I got to meet, and a lot more. So you're going to want to stay tuned. All right, guys, before I dive into today's subject and topics and all of that stuff, again, I'm Anthony. If this is your first time visiting, if it's not, hey, consider hitting that subscribe button. We drop new videos just like this one today, every single Tuesday. We do cover a lot of different things, and we also do a lot of reviews. I'm working on a couple of drone videos, some simple, basic ones. Hopefully those will be coming out soon as well. Let's go ahead and start today's video. So recently I was very, very fortunate to be down in Chicago, Illinois for quite a few days. I was doing a work activity, and one of the keynote speakers at the location I was at was Marcus Lemonis. You guys may know who he is, maybe you don't. He is the prophet on the CNBC show who believes in people, process, and profit, the 3 Ps for him, which is interesting because I worked as a contractor for BP for a long time, and they have similar philosophies as far as that stuff goes. In fact, I ran part of one of their main programs that delivered the cost of savings efficiencies, risk management, and a lot more for many, many years. And it's cool to see him do that. So in Chicago, doing the work function, he's a keynote speaker. You know, you assume, or I assumed maybe, that the prophet's going to talk about business and about how to save money and so forth and so on. Right as he came out, he said, nope, that's not what I'm talking about. And then I'm not going to repeat his story. You'll have to watch something on him specific. The reason I bring that up is, it was super cool. Let me get that out there. It was super cool to see the guy. I've been watching The Prophet since it aired on CNBC. So that was cool. The other cool part is to hear someone tell their story. He did really good with telling his story. He also did really good with audience interaction. So that was cool. The other part, shoot, for probably 80-90% of the thing, he was probably within a 2-foot radius of me. Because he was walking up and down the center aisle. I was sitting toward the front of the center aisle, and super cool. The other part, and the reason I want to bring this up is, you know, I've talked to a lot of people through the years, and I've mentioned to them about motivation and so forth and so on. And what kind of spooled my thought was a couple of things. You know, I've mentioned that to a lot of people. I've tried to motivate certain people. Didn't work. The other part is you start identifying the people that are like you and the people that are not. And when I say that, I don't mean it in any kind of derogatory term or racial term or anything like that at all. What I clearly mean flat out is you want more, and you're willing to work toward that. You want to talk about that. You want to go through those processes. You want to review those processes with people. And then, you know, there's a lot of people that just don't. They don't care. They're good with what they have, or they're good at their job, or they're good at whatever it may be. And then they idle and idle and idle. And that's fine. Like, there is nothing wrong with that. As long as, you know, you're taking care of your kids, your wife, your family, great. You got a job. You've got some kind of income coming in from some type of legal activity, great, and so much more. So that there's nothing wrong with that. But what it does do is it causes some issues, and it always will. You know, if you've got guys that are lazy or guys that are very self asphyxiated where they just want to talk about themselves and what they're doing and blah, 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 blah. And you don't have big picture guys or guys that want to drive to that next level. You're going to have conflict between the two. And, I can tell you personally, with certain friends of mine or used to be friends of mine, to where they truly thought this and they truly thought that without ever giving any other side of the coin, because it was their assumptions and where they wanted to be, which is great. I mean, now it's funny. I look back and it's fantastic. Now bringing me back to the Prophet. So the Prophet talked about a bunch of life things and his journey, and his journey. If you listen to Andy Frisella, the MFCEO project, if you listen to Brad Lee or Jocko Willink, any of those guys, I mean, it's all about the journey. It's all about the adventure. It's all about the story. It's all about all of that. And it's an incredible thing to think about, especially as, I'm in my mid 30s now, and you kind of self-reflect and you look at the 20s and you look at the teenage years and you really start thinking about that stuff. And it's like, it's kind of crazy on, I guess, how much you grow through the years and the opportunities that you've taken and the opportunities that you've let pass and so forth and so on. And I'll be the first one to say I'm very, very fortunate to work for a great company, to have a good job, to be able to do this because I love doing this, and so much, so forth and so on. But I've also worked my ass off for it, and there is no line, I guess, for that, especially when you've got those people, as I was mentioning earlier, that are not aggressive, that aren't passionate, that are just they bitch and complain, or it's everyone else's deal, and instead of stepping up and really knocking it out and going after it. So I don't know, it's an interesting thing. Back to the Chicago trip though, that was an incredible trip because I got to go to some events that I had never gotten to go to, and I got to do some things. In addition to seeing Marcus Lemonis, like I said, that was awesome. It was about 90 minutes. I got to do a selfie with him. He talked through some important points, some important points in his life that made an impact on him, in which in return, he's hopefully going to make an impact on all of the viewers and everything else that was there at that event. And then of course with this show and with everything else he does. So super cool with that. I also got to watch a Harvard professor discuss blockchain, which was incredible. If you guys are interested in that, check that out. If you want some crazy business, check out blockchain. So just to kind of wrap up the point of this video more or less, because I know I went on a little bit of a rambling there, is I was fortunate enough to see Marcus Lemonis live, which was awesome. It was incredible for me because a huge fan of his off the Profit. I've been watching the Profit since it started. And in addition to that, there's a lot more to it than that. I mean, the guy's told his incredible story, the ups and downs, some of his addictions and other issues. Again, I'm not going to sit here and tell the story, but my light's going to die. But what I will say is, at least for me personally, as time goes on, as I've invested a lot of time reading books, a lot of time in that mental health side of things, as far as mental health, to become more efficient, to become a better leader, to do all that, you really start kind of respecting other people's stories, and you really start looking at other avenues on, what else is out there? What else can I do? What else? And that's really the point of me even talking about it today, is that very specifically is, does any of this help anyone? I hope maybe one person listens and they take a small piece away and say, shit, I do need to look at the people around me because I feel isolated, or I feel like they're not getting me because they're too self-involved, or whatever it may be. I'll go into that quite a bit more in later videos. But the combination between going to Chicago, doing work, seeing Marcus Lemonis, really thinking through, listening to a bunch of the other books and everything else. And it really started to make sense. Also, recently, Andy Frisella and the MFCEO talked about that as well, as the differences between people in isolation and everything. And it's not good. It is not a good thing. It's not a positive thing to be isolated to any degree. In fact, it really takes its toll when you are isolated for any reason, especially for one like that, because you see things different and you're driving toward a different goal. And the attention that these people want on their bullshit isn't being fulfilled because you acknowledge them. Yes. You give them real attention, and it's not enough because they want to be the focal point of your attention for every visit, for everything, which is very childish and is not what an adult should be doing. But so you just kind of keep doing your thing and you keep doing your thing, and then you end up over here and they're still kind of pissy because you're not giving them whatever attention that they feel that is required, which is crazy. All right, so enough on that. I've been rambling close to 10 minutes here. I do want to thank all you guys for checking out and watching these videos. I'm working on trying to make it better, a little bit more exciting. I guess some really cool ideas. I do want to flush out some of the learning stuff. I like the Rodecaster Pro. It does a fantastic job as far as the audio goes. I'm going to work on kind of the setup in here as well. But let's wrap it up there. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. Share, subscribe, like. I drop these videos every single Tuesday. Until next time.